Well, here we are again. This is Fueled by Coffee, season finale, 2 parts. So this is going to be episode 4 and episode 5. What you're listening to right now is the beginning of episode 4. I'm here today with a great friend of mine. His name is Mike. I worked with him for about 2.5 years at my first real job, known as Peapod.
Yeah, and saying that and calling it a real job kind of doesn't make any sense, but that's all right.
Yeah, we're going to delve into all of the crazy memories, things we came up with, code that we talked, coworkers, you name it. We're going to be discussing it over these next 2 episodes because we tried doing it once before and I totally messed the whole thing up.
No, I'll take half that blame. I'll take 49% of the blame.
Yeah.
You can have 51.
It was a little too forced, but we've learned from our mistakes, and we're going to end season 1 of Fueled by Coffee with a bang. So today we are at Mike's place in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
The Skybox.
The Skybox in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And he has provided the coffee today. As I say every episode, I have a different type of coffee every single episode. So Mike, what are we drinking right now?
Well, I'm an asshole coffee snob. I roast my own beans. So what it is, it's a Colombian Supremo with my Swiss espresso machine. Yeah, go ahead and judge me. I don't care. I'm drinking better coffee than you. So it's basically that. It's basically that, and I can't drink the mass-produced crap anymore. I mean, it's just coffee isn't supposed to taste like what people think it's supposed to taste like, which is shit. It's supposed to taste good, and this, I know you probably agree, it tastes good.
This tastes great, and I've taken 2 sips, and I'm ready to finish the glass right now. So, I guess we're going to take a very short segment because I don't want to go too deep into the episode with bullshit and nonsense. But Mike, what's something cool that's going on in your life currently? That's how we usually start the episode off.
Well, it's been a busy year. I have a new place to live. I have a new job. Did a lot of travel this year. As far as looking forward, I booked our big vacation for next year. We're going to Amsterdam, Brussels, and Prague. Got some shows coming up. Looking forward to. We're going to go see the David Byrne production on Broadway. I've seen him do a couple of other things. I saw him do a brass band with the very hot and talented St. Vincent. She stood up there in a mini skirt with her guitar. Everyone else had brass instruments marching around the stage. That was really cool. And I also saw him do something called Contemporary Color, where he got 10 different color guards and 10 different musical acts to collaborate, and they put on only 3 shows, and I saw one of those at Barclays Center. So that's coming up. Also, I was always a fan of the Riot Girls, so Kathleen Hanna's band Bikini Kill's back together, and
nice.
we're going to see that. I saw her when she did her Julie Ruin tour a few years back, which was really good, except for her literally gay keyboard player who talked way too fucking much. You know, those people that get up on stage and they're just so comfortable talking that they don't shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
It was one of those deals. But the music was really good.
Maybe we should have him on the podcast.
No. So she just nose laugh. Yeah, great. So, there's that kind of shit. You know me, I'm always doing something. We just went to see the famous Frank Lloyd Wright house in Falling Water, Pennsylvania.
Right.
And then the next day we went to Centralia.
Nice.
To the places where the highway's been shut down for years and years and years. It's all graffitied, so that was cool.
Nice.
So I got all that kind of crap.
Did you tag anything while you were there?
Just with my dick. If you go to my Instagram, Living Large and Hard, you'll see that I'm a very big fan of graffitied cock and balls.
Yep,
so
not a surprise. I've known this for a very long time.
There was a lot of those.
There were a lot of those at Peapod as well.
Walking around, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say episode 1 I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
With your, your discussion of how long it took you to get home in the blizzard last year.
Right.
And I just want you to know I can empathize because where I lived at the time and where I worked at the time, it would take me 8 minutes normally to get home.
Yeah.
And it took me 20. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, suffering is all on a sliding scale.
First world problems.
Yeah. Well, It was terrifying. No, I didn't give a fuck, really. It didn't matter.
Mike is the kind of guy who doesn't get scared. He just doesn't give a shit about anything.
No. It is. Well, I do. I give a shit about trying to be a decent person. I really, I just try to go through life and maybe make things a little better for people I come in contact with, if they're amenable to that. If they're assholes, then they don't get that little joystick spread on them. Also getting back to that thing with your trip home, you said at one point that probably 200 cars passed you.
Yeah.
I don't think you realize that basically you look like a werewolf wearing a turban. So that may explain. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
you probably didn't have a very, happy look on your face. You probably just hunched over the wheel. It was all steamed up inside.
It was.
Yeah. So I can't imagine anyone going, this looks like a good idea to stop and get this guy out of here. No,
that's a great way of actually describing me. Because no one listening to this, except for the 3 people that listen. Well, actually, everyone. It's the 3 people that listen to this who know. They actually know me. But if there's anyone out there in the universe who doesn't know what I look like, yes, a werewolf with a turban on. That's a perfect explanation. So let's delve into the universe of Peapod. A place where we spent many years of our lives miserable.
No,
we had fun.
Yes,
but the workplace there is miserable. The culture is non-existent.
We were the culture, and that's why it was so enjoyable at first. But then the last year that I was there, and you were there like a year and a half. You probably the last year and a half you were there, it sucked. Mm-hmm. The last year that I was there, it sucked. But before that, it was so much fucking fun because we made it fun.
Yeah,
and they let us do whatever the fuck we wanted.
Yeah, management didn't pay attention. We got away with
it. They just looked at the numbers which we were producing because we did it our way and we made it fun for them as well.
Yeah.
Dope Talk with Dr. Dave.
Yep. That was perfect. That sounded beautiful.
Yeah.
So, starting the topic of Peapod, we're going to jump way back to the beginning, as if it's our first day there. When you came into Peapod, you got a nickname. Well, if Mike knew you got a nickname.
Yes.
And you know what? Even if you didn't talk to Mike, you had a nickname and you would have never known it.
Yes. My girlfriend Mary asked me that. Do these people know what you call them? And I said, by and large, no.
So I'm going to read off. I have a list of probably, God, I don't know how many names here. I'm just going to read them off. And if at any point you want me to stop so you can elaborate.
I think that would be a good idea. Because I think that would be a real good idea.
All right. So let's start here. Start from the top. Matt 182.
Yes. Formerly Matt 182. Now Matt 323.
Yes.
Because when I trained Matt, and I still would like to tell you thanks for saying at one point very soon after meeting that I was the weirdest person you'd ever met, and I want to thank you for that because that just shows you're an observant young man.
You're welcome.
So anyway, you had your Blink 182 hat.
Yeah, that I wore every single day.
Every single day.
And then, when I retired it, everyone was like, why didn't you wear your hat today? And I was like, because it's fucking old.
It's a fucking hat, too.
Yeah.
It's not like you came in with no pants. How come you're not wearing pants today? Because I had penis enlargement and I'm proud of it.
So, Matt 182. Boar's breath. That was me for about a week because of the way I laugh.
Yeah.
When I do that. Yeah.
Because I had found, oh my God, talk about digressions. But anyway, this, that, and the other thing, I had time to kill one day, and I was looking for a magazine in Wegmans to read, and I found one about wild boar hunting. So that started a whole nother thing. Yeah, and then I heard old fucking Whisker Cheeks over here laughing like that. I said, you sound like a fucking pig.
And then I would laugh and we'd flap the tote lids.
Yeah, because that was the pig trotters.
Yeah.
Like applause.
So, Bunky Monkey.
Bunky Monkey, a fabulous person. Really, I mean, there aren't many people you meet in your life that are just good people and just radiate niceness, I guess would be the word.
Yeah.
And that was her. And the reason she was called Bunky Monkey is that where she lived on some kind of weird hippie compound with a time portal, like she lived in the 70s. And then she traveled to the 20 teens to be with us. But it used to be a gay backwoods resort. So I came up with Tales from the Gay Bunkhouse with Bunky Monkey. So then she became Bunky Monkey.
Beautiful. I never heard the origin story of that. I think I asked you and you couldn't remember for some reason.
Well, as you also know with me, the past is pretty much the fucking past.
Yep.
And that's why you can look this word up, people. I had 2 amanuenses.
Yep.
And because I just basically, I've put myself in a position in life where I really don't need to do anything but be myself.
Yeah.
Which I highly recommend. It's pretty fun. But I don't really pay attention to what the hell's coming out of my mouth. So sometimes, luckily, there's people around. Luckily, it's kind of luckily, because I can be pretty funny. But anyway, luckily, there's people around that when a gem turd drops out of my ass, they're there to polish it up and put it in the case for later. Yeah.
DJ Morgan.
DJ Morgan, she was there, not at the beginning, but pretty close.
Still there.
Still there. Will always be there. Will always complain about being there. But my favorite station that I listen to, which Matt's sitting next to their lunchbox promotional piece for me, giving them money, is KEXP out of Seattle. And then on that station, there's someone called DJ Morgan. So she became DJ Morgan.
Amish Hardcore. He was there pretty much from the start, and he's got like one of the world's worst comb overs. But he actually shaved his head. He sent me a picture recently.
That could be worse. There's that boar laugh.
Shit.
So he and I hit it off right away. I'm sure the same way that you and I, we must have talked about music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So basically, if you don't know what I look like, you're lucky. But I look like some stick up his ass Nazi sympathizer, but I'm like 180 degrees from that. So when I talk to people in my not my age group, because I really don't talk to them, people who have like-minded interests, they're usually much, much younger. But I can't get to that point. The quickest shorthand is to say, yeah, I saw ICP. Yeah, I went to see Guar, like recently, and stuff like that. And then it opens up a whole discussion, right. And then people find out I'm not some fucking, ready to roll over in his fucking classic rock grave, stick in the mud.
Yeah.
So Amish Hardcore and I started that. And he's really into hardcore music, pretty much exclusively. That's what he's always, as far as I know, it's what it's always been. That's what it is.
Yep.
But he looks Amish. So that started a whole nother thing. Like he and I had we'll go into the fake bands and fake shows stuff, but he and I had one called Hanover Fist.
I forgot about Hanover Fist.
That's Hanover, Hanover. So we had that, and our hashtag was Horsecock Barn Dance, where you would go to look up all the information of the shows that were coming up.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, so he and
Holy shit.
He's one of those people. He's one of the few people in my life, but especially later in life, you really don't get people that we would look at each other, and there'd be one word one word would come out, and we'd look at each other, and he would get this face like someone stuck an ice cold thumb up his ass.
Yep.
And that means it was on, and we would have to stop shopping, put our guns, which we wore, the infrared scanners, we'd have to put them on, we'd have to hit the brake pedal, put them on brake. And there was times that without, overamping things, we would have to literally stop shopping, and we would be laughing so hard we'd be in tears.
Yep. And
people would come by and they go, "What did we miss?" And I go, it doesn't fucking matter. You won't fucking know. He said two. It's one of those things. It makes no fucking sense. It's a joke on a joke on a joke on a joke that may have been going on for months.
Yep. So I'm just trying to go through the original gang right now.
That's fine.
Crazy Crab.
Crazy Crab was, again, a very sweet person.
Yep.
High strung, but talk like she wasn't. But yeah, I'm really stressed out and like depressed, and I got too much going on.
Yep.
But her very first shop there was a screw up on snow crab legs.
The frozen snow crab legs.
A big fuck up. So she became Crazy Crab, and then that became, in my head, a cartoon. Hey, it's Crazy Crab.
Yep.
And I was Marty the pervert mollusk or something like that. I don't know what the fuck it was, but there was another side character.
Clownslayer Doug.
Clownslayer Doug.
Which he listens to these. Shout out to you, Doug. He'll be on a future episode.
Oh shit, yeah, that guy. He's talk about high strung. Yeah, he's the guy of a million nicknames, actually.
Yeah, Regis Milkbin, Connie West, or something like that.
What was it?
It was like Connie West, or Regis Milkbin. That was my favorite.
Yeah, there was the oh my god,
the Asian sensation.
There was a lot of them, but another good guy, but he was he'd have these weird lashings out, like when he smashed the door with a cart.
You know, when he lashed out at me, we were picking orders, and basically I went up to him. I had to pick a piece of lunch meat, and I picked up, it was like half a pound of ham, and I just went, "Hey, Doug," slapped him in the face, and slapped him in the face with this little package of ham, and his eyes got real wide, and he said, "Dude, do not do that to me ever again. I don't like that."
And he wasn't even Jewish.
Yeah. And I said, okay. And I felt really bad for, that was like in the morning. That was probably 30 minutes into our shift. And so by break time, 3 or 4 hours later, I went up to him and I was like, "Doug, I am so sorry. I feel so bad." And he's like, "Oh no, man, I just don't like when people do stuff like that." So that was a strange happenings there, lashing out. But Doug is a very sweet guy, very mild mannered, unless he's pissed off about something.
Yeah, then you might die.
Yeah, my life flashed before my eyes.
Must have been boring.
Okay, Party Cake. Who I nicknamed, by the way. Should I tell the story of the nicknaming of Party Cake?
Yes, because you're going to do the original, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I know what the original is.
Junior Fruity Pops.
No. He's on the list, though.
But that's where it came from. Because Junior Fruity Pops, who was this man who must have been in his early hundreds, that they felt very sorry for, so they let him work. Did he drool, or just I imagine he was drooling?
I think you imagined he was drooling. He never drooled when I saw him.
Yeah, he looked like he could drool. Oh, and he had that name tag that hung.
Oh, he was dragging on the floor.
Like his name tag, because his shirt was so big for him that it looked like his name tag was a brick, and it pulled down. But I don't know. Well, that was part of the whole Shower Boys of D Block thing.
Yeah.
So he was Junior Fruity Pops. He was the old guy on the block, on the cell block.
Yeah.
And then
he got electrocuted.
Yeah. There was some big like lights and there's a zapping sound. So Junior Fruity Pops got electrocuted. And then Clownslayer Doug went, "No, not Junior Fruity Pops." So there was that. And then we were going through ice cream. And then that became the next like it was going to be.
It's the giant brand popsicles, Junior Fruity Pops.
Well, then the next one was going to be Party Cake.
Well, because this is the origin that I know of. So I'd been there for, I don't even remember. Well, actually, I trained Party Cake. I had been there for about 5 months, and they wanted me to train him. I remember I saw him come in, and I thought, this guy looks like some fucking, like he thinks he's the vocalist of Rage Against the Machine or some shit. And they were like, "Oh yeah, you're training this guy." And up until that point, my knowledge was that whenever there was a new person or fresh meat in Peapod, you were calling him Party Cake. So I thought that's just like whenever a fucking new guy, also another name, Feng, whenever there was a new person, I thought we called him Party Cake. And everyone thought it was so funny that I was calling him Party Cake that day. So then it just stuck. So then there was no Party Cake continuation whenever we had a new person. He was Party Cake.
He was Party Cake.
That's what I remember. So
yeah, well, that was part of the ice cream series.
The ice cream series in the Shower Boys of D Block.
Shower Boys of D Block. It was like a barbershop quartet, I said, in a shower with anal rape.
Yep. Oh, shit. Robitussin.
Oh, my God. I forgot Robitussin.
Robitussin.
Yeah. He was a guy named Rob who
was pretty
in another world.
Yeah, he was like mentally absent from our world, but he was existing elsewhere.
Yeah, he would stop and screw his face up and look up to the lights and then smirk and laugh.
But then I went to a barbecue at his place last summer, and outside of work, he's a very, very intelligent human being, which is really, he was into 3D printing, which is where he works now. He was on the dong floor for a while.
He did. He made the hand for the checkered tote flag.
The tote flag. I forgot about that. Let's see. Who else do we got in here? Big Gator.
Big Gator. I forgot Big Gator when I was doing the list.
How the fuck could you forget Big Gator?
Because I forgot that's not his name.
Lieutenant Gator is his name now, right?
Well, no. I thought he's been Big Gator so long, I forgot he had a real name.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Big Gator was this guy named Brad, and he came in probably the last year we were there, and we didn't know much about him until we started merging, which we'll get into then. We're going to get into the whole progression. We haven't even told you guys, I mean, we've given you a glimpse, but we haven't even really told everyone what Peapod was. But yeah, he came in and they threw him in with Mike and I at some point, and we found out he is a very hard worker. He's diverted easily, but if you get him on track, man, that kid can work.
I know.
And he is very, very intelligent. His quote of the life was, always look further than you can see.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Yes. Always look farther than you can see. I go, Gator, that is fucking stupendous. That is so great. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean it.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't ever admit you didn't mean it if someone thinks it's good.
So Big Gator, he was integrated in later on, but he was easily part of the gang.
Yes. Yeah, we get together for Dorks at Dorney.
Dorks at Dorney every year.
For 2 years now. To go and go into the supposedly haunted areas and just talk to the people.
Yeah, I was getting hit on quite a bit by some
by
of
me. Oh no, you talk about outside.
Well, yeah. We Mike was hitting on me outside the attractions, but inside the attractions, many of the females were hitting on me. So, if anyone from Dorney Park is listening to this,
right,
I'm available. No. Okay, pterodactyl.
Terry the pterodactyl.
Yep.
I don't know, man. This
That's all you need to know. Is every day
sucks. Everything's horrible. Everything's fucked up. She's been there since the beginning, and she'll be there until forever. Oh, we also had there was the dry side where we worked. Basically, quickly, Peapod was set up as a grocery store in the back of a grocery store.
Yep.
So there was the dry side, and then there was the frozen side, frozen aisle, chilled aisle. The people who had a pulse and an IQ above room temperature worked chilled and frozen. Everybody else worked in the other, and I came up with the name Dry Humpers for them.
Yep. And then we were the Chill Humpers.
Yep.
So I think that's it. Oh, the Penguins.
The Penguins.
They were pretty brain dead. They lived on a cult farm,
yes,
as far as we know.
Yes.
Am I missing anything other than that they worked on they lived on a cult farm?
Well,
and they had odd haircuts.
Yes, and they were just weird. They were just in their own.
They talked like this.
Yeah.
Oh my!
I don't know.
That's what I say. I gotta get some gel packs or something.
Grandpa anally raped me in the hay.
Oh shit!
I don't know. I'm just saying.
So yeah, there were the Penguins. There were two of them. They were twins. They came to work in a minivan, a shitty minivan,
shared minivan,
shared
the entire commune. From what I understood,
and one of them could work hard. One of them was, I'd say she was one of the better people. That was Anne, and then Mary was just there. Yeah, she was just kind of existing. So that was our main crew. But there are
there's a lot more names that I came up with. One of my favorites that I had forgotten until you reminded me was Sissy Elvis.
I have him on the list too. Sissy Elvis. He was there when I started.
Not for long, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he was an original chill humper, I guess. Because he was, when you trained me, he was over with you guys.
Yeah, but he had shown up just a bit before. Because he looked like Elvis, and then he got a BB shot into his head.
Yeah.
And I called him a pussy because he didn't just dig it out with a penknife. He went to the emergency room.
Let's see what I got here. Tim Hortons.
Oh, Timbits.
It was Timbits, that's right.
Yeah, I forgot him.
I thought it was Tim Hortons.
Yeah, his name was Tim, so I called him Timbits because he was rotund.
Yeah, that's right. He looked like he ate Tim Hortons regularly.
That's what I say. He goes, "Why are you calling me Timbits?" I go, "You look in the mirror, you fat fuck."
Yeah. Okay, Timbits, Fang, which is the default whenever we get a fucking new guy, it'd be Fang. There was Fang Tull. You remember Jenna Tull, that rotund, short woman? Very nice.
Yeah.
A very slow worker.
Yeah.
God awful. So she was Fang Tull. Then there was also Fang Giant, which was Rachel, the tall girl, who she was a great worker.
Fantastic. And quite smart.
Yeah. From what I heard, I had never interacted with her much.
That's why she didn't last long.
Snack Attack.
Oh my God.
He was a driver. Every day Mike and him talked. Dr. Dave.
Dave.
He was the ringleader. Even after he got promoted and we had Cowboy Curtis as our manager, Dr. Dave.
Dr. Dave was the manager, and I always called him Dr. Dave.
And frequently, we'll get into this more later, but frequently on Saturdays we ran out of the totes that we required to do our jobs. So every Saturday, Mike would go up and have tote talk.
I'd have tote talk with Dr. Dave on WPOD. And I even made him a T-shirt that said that.
And he autographed it and framed it.
He framed it and autographed it.
And they were going to throw it away after he left, and then I think he took it.
Oh, the Wookiee.
The Wookiee took it.
The Wookiee rescued it for him.
He was like the assistant manager, I guess. Mm-hmm. So there's the Wookiee. There was Nemi, Mike's work wife.
My sister. Yeah, my work wife, who we hated each other originally. And then we ended up realizing that we're both okay people. So she became my work wife.
Triple Dub, who was another manager.
The 3 W's, Wicked Witch of the West.
Yep.
What a fucking bitch. She was like the opposite of Bunky Monkey. She was nothing. She didn't give a crap about anybody.
Stood with her arms crossed and stared at us with the same pissy look on her face every single day, day in and day out.
And then she'd go out and she got busted by security for taking about 30 smoke breaks in a 5-hour shift.
Yep. Sounds like my current assistant manager where I work now. She'll come in at say 3 or 4 a.m. and by 4:45 she's out having a smoke break already, and then she comes in and she's handling food with her bare hands after having a smoke break. It's fucking repulsive. Cowboy Curtis, I mentioned, he was basically the manager that took over after Dr. Dave got promoted. He was clueless. He was also Clueless Curtis, and he was just an asshole. Raylicious. He became Ray Tired. Retarded
and became retired, thankfully, because he was just there putting his time in until he could retire.
Yeah, he was in charge of the drivers, but he would try and manage us, and we all just knew he was
we didn't
useless. Fubu 2. He was also a replacement manager.
I forgot that one.
Yeah, he was very nice. I remember talking to him. He was I'm 21 going on 22, and when I left there I was 20 and he was like 23 or 24 in a management position. And I remember talking to him the one day. He said, "So you're leaving?" I said, "Yeah, in a couple weeks I got this new job." He goes, "Yeah, man, I gotta get out of here. I've been here since I was 16." Imagine working for Giant from the time you're 16 until you're 24.
Same thing that Dr. Dave did. But
God,
Dr. Dave had 6 weeks vacation out of it. But yeah, Fubu too, because he was young and he was pretty hip. I could drop a Fubu reference. Mm-hmm. And so then we kind of hit it off. So he became Fubu too. And I had to talk with him as well about, dude, you really want to do this shit? Like, you want to end up like Ray Tired and Triple Dub, where you're just hanging out until they fucking, check out after 30 years in? He's like, no, not really. Like, move on.
Babada.
Yeah, Babada.
Yeah. She was nice.
Yeah.
She was like my work mom.
Yeah.
Junior Fruity Pops. We already
covered that.
Okay, you're gonna like this one. Blast from the past. Hell of a dip / Pappy one hitter.
I forgot Pappy one hitter. He was the guy who was threatened to beat my ass that one time. We were gonna get in a fight. I thought he was gonna come back with an AR-15,
throwing totes. It's funny. He was there from the time I started, and then he somehow hurt his heel or something, and then he left. And
he
disappeared into his hippie woodshed.
He freaked out. Yeah, he looked like, if you ever look at Hell of a Brand cheese in the container, that's what he looked like. He looked like Pappy one hitter because he was out smoking weed all the time.
He looked like a burnout version of the Hell of a Dip guy.
God, yeah. And I said something about, we got done first, and I said something innocuous, and he just fucking lost it, and he was so fucking mad. And I was a little bit afraid that he was going to come back with a gun, because it's, Coopersburg. And then I realized if he comes back, he's going to kill Triple Dub first, so I'll at least hear that pop, pop, pop.
Yep.
And I'll have time to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, I remember it was like one of my first few days, and I was still intimidated. That job, I never really came out of my shell until I was there for about a year and a half, I would say. But there was this kid, I don't remember what his name was. He was covered in tattoos. He was there for about a month when I was there. Like when I first started, I don't know how long he'd been there, but I remember he was following Pappy One Hitter around, kind of harassing him. And we came back from break the one day and he goes, oh, what the fuck was Pappy One Hitter's real name? Don. And he said, Don, you smell like a burnt rack of ribs.
That's a good one.
I was like, oh shit. Obviously the guy smelled like weed and cigarettes, but
well, speaking of that was Party Cake.
Party Cake weed, for the first 2 years or first year or however long he was there. It's just until he like quit pretty much. He smelled so horrendous in Party Cake. You can attest to this if you're listening still. When Crazy Crab was pregnant, there was one day he walked in and apparently he smelled so horribly that she got like sick and went and threw up. I remember being like, he smells so fucking bad. And I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. It's like he slept in the ashtray of his car while he was fucking hitting weed. It was nasty.
Okay.
You got the Gossip Goblin?
Yeah, well, there's one and then she's the next one. But yeah, Gossip Goblin, she was the resident midget of Peapod. She looked like a goblin and an ogre.
Oh, and horrible. And just spreading
rumors.
Spreading fake news, basically. I mean, absolute straight up lies.
Mm-hmm.
Like so-and-so was seen in the parking lot having sex. And
yep.
Yeah, just an awful person.
P51. Deb. It was this old woman who somehow had a family, and we wondered how the hell did she have kids. She's probably in her 60s or something, just totally clueless. Walked around with her mouth agape the whole time. And Mike, whoever's listening to this, you can look this up. It's a P-51 aircraft from World War II, and she walked around looking like one of those things, totally clueless, just biggest dope.
Yeah, she looked like the air intake on an old World War II fighter plane.
Yeah,
that was her mouth, and she was so dumb that it was staggering to me that she got there every day.
Yeah.
And got home.
Yeah.
And had a child.
Yeah.
God bless America.
The pigeon.
Oh, yeah.
Speedy Edie.
Yeah, I call her Spetty Eddie.
Yeah, I have /Spetty Eddie.
Yeah.
Another person who's well into their hundreds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Always seen. She had a leg that was constantly stiff somehow, so she's always hobbling around on one leg. And
yeah, we were supposed to pick at a certain rate.
It was 185 for dry, 195 for chilled, and then when we switched systems, it was 215 units per hour for everyone.
Yes, but people like Spetty Eddie and P51, they would do about 40% of that and still have a job.
Yep, and
that was part of our disdain of working there. Was we bust our asses as fucking merge monkeys and shoppers, and they would be doing 40% of their job and complaining about stuff.
Yep. And the thing is with them too is I remember when I was hired, there was a specific requirement that we had to meet in terms of production, or not production, like they said you had to lift at least 50 pounds or something like that. And for them it was always, can you get this off the top shelf?
50 fucking ounces.
Can you lift this? It's too heavy. Are you fucking kidding me? You shouldn't be working here.
Yes.
Oh, this was another blast from the past. I forgot about him until I was looking through pictures. The twerker.
I got that, yeah.
Watch me twerk, bro.
This guy was such a fucking cocky asshole. And then it was even more annoying because he would go into the bathroom to take a piss.
Yeah.
And he'd go to the urinal.
Oh, I forgot about this.
He would put his left hand up on the wall while he's holding his dick, pissing, and go, I just wanted to kick him in his fucking ass when he's doing that. Break both his hand and his cock against the urinal.
Okay. Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Durst.
Oh, yeah, drivers.
The truck drivers. We interacted with them for all 5 minutes throughout the day.
Yeah.
Most of the time they were assholes, but these guys were all right. They were pretty nice.
Yep.
Butt Crack Bailey.
Yeah, I almost forgot that one. You could not... Butt Crack Bailey would watch SpongeBob on her phone while she was shopping.
Another person who somehow had a job. We got a 15-minute break, and she was caught numerous times taking 30 to 40 minutes in the break room. And they just said, you can't do that.
Can't do that. Next time we'll write you up.
And Mike actually got her to quit, if you would like to tell that.
Yes. Well, my buddy Beavis and I.
Beavis! Yeah. Oh, I forgot about her.
We're standing there, and Butt Crack Bailey got to the end of her shop, which was obvious because there was a section and it was miscellaneous breads and bagels and stuff. So it was obvious she was at the end, and she was just standing there looking at her finger.
Yep.
And kind of picking at it. And I said, "What are you picking your finger?" Really lame. Mm-hmm. But that was it. She flipped out. "Fuck you guys." And then she went back up the aisle the wrong way against shopping traffic. Mm-hmm. And then she announced to Dr. Dave that she was quitting. And she went around crying and complaining. And then after that, Dr. Dave came up to me and shook my hand.
Yep.
But the reason she was called Butt Crack Bailey is on top of the numerous extra brake violations, she would literally be walking around with her ass crack.
Because she was a very large human.
Very short and very large.
Short and large, and her pants never fit.
And outside of work, she also had a moment of infamy because she was arrested for having sex on the towpath.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then she went online in the comments section to defend herself, as Nemesister pointed out, Bailey. So everyone knew it was her.
Jeez. Jod, Jackie's other daughter.
Oh my!
Is this guy Ryan? He was an asshole.
Big time. He used to do this with his pen, which I just found myself doing. And he'd walk around chewing with his mouth open, chewing his gum.
Yeah, he was an asshole. He was on the night crew, and basically on Fridays, the night crew, or weekend shifts in general, the night crew started 2 hours earlier. And because we never had enough manpower or resources to get our jobs done on time, they'd be showing up and, getting annoyed with us because we weren't done yet.
And getting our way.
And he would just come up and he'd be watching us with his pissy look on his face. But he was triple dubbed Jackie. He was like a brown noser for her. So he was Jackie's other daughter, Jod.
Yep. And her real daughter worked there, and I called her the arsonist.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how her and I were talking about burning the place down. Mm-hmm. So.
There's also, this one you may not remember, Country Creeper. She worked with us for a very short time. Probably.
Was that during my time off?
No, it was, I think she started around November of 16. She didn't last till January. Like, she was gone by that point. She was she was pretty hefty Hispanic girl, very nice, very friendly. I think she moved from like New York to here, and you called her the Country Creeper or something weird. Okay, Tippy Toe Minstrel.
Tippy Toe Minstrel.
Which guy, I saw he works at Hot Topic now in the Lehigh Valley Mall.
I told you, that guy is the absolute antithesis of Hot Topic. This guy was, I'm 6'3", he was at least as tall as me. He had stringy long hair. He had some kind of developmental physical problems, so he walked on his tippy toes with one hand kind of cocked by his chest, and I thought he looked like nothing more than a Renaissance minstrel,
which is basically like a street performing musician.
Yeah. So he, that guy, and he was another one that had constant issues. Always.
Yeah.
He was always bummed out, like life was tough. I guess because the king didn't like his minstrelry or something shit like that.
Going back to New York. Bodega Bobby.
That guy, he was an Albanian from Brooklyn.
Melon-headed fuck.
You round-headed, melon-headed fucking piece of Eurotrash. Hey, fuck you, man.
His infamous line was, he was picking with us, and so the way Chilled was lined up, the produce was at the end, and he was like, yo, I need 4 kiwis and there's only 3.
This is mad weird.
Yep, those were his infamous lines within our universe.
Yeah, good guy,
love him.
Apparently he had problems though, because once he was gone, I reached out and he goes, yeah, you guys don't know how much I miss you guys. Like, yeah, you're fucked up. You're just working at Peapod. You're in New York City, dude.
And then from my list, we're gonna wrap it up with the Oranga Man.
Oh, Oranga Man.
He was the loader. And Mike and I...
He was a load.
Mike and I didn't deal with him regularly until the merging days.
Yes.
It was, maybe in the pivot days a little bit. There were times where they would pull me to help him load trucks like once in a blue moon. But once Mike and I were merging, which was the sorting and organizing of totes after the orders were finished.
Yeah, because the orders became... they were getting picked 8 totes at a time, which might be 8 separate orders. Those all had to be put together by the merge monkeys onto carts. They've taken off big carts, put on small carts, which would then be loaded into trucks. So you'd have to take all this stuff and pull together. Then you'd haul it back in the hallway. And then the Orangaman would load them on the trucks slowly and, not very well.
We're not a political podcast here, but he was notorious for supporting Donald Trump religiously. He would come in and he was very loafy, no ass, always had the same cargo shorts on, those country boy legs that Mike always talked about. Gut,
square haircut,
very odd postured, water bag chin.
And then when he would stand, he would never stand still. It was like there was some kind of breeze. He was kind of like a Macy's Thanksgiving float.
Yep.
He would kind of waft in the breeze. So at one point, I believe the most we had was 4 of us lined up doing the Orangaman. We would line up behind him and copy his delicate, breezy way of standing.
And he was so stupid that he never noticed.
No, he would even look back and see us all there. And
he wouldn't think of anything of
it.
So yeah, the Orangaman, basically that name came from the fact that he looked like an orangutan, and he was probably about
half as smart.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say as smart, but I stuttered because I thought I can't give him that much credit.
Orangutans, man.
So that's all I have for nicknames.
Well, for me, before your time, there was Bitch Giggles.
Bitch Giggles. Wow.
Yeah, he was a guy. He was another flighty one, and he would, every day I wouldn't do it, and to your credit, you wouldn't do it, but you do all this, how many are we going to have? How many shops are we going to? He would go, I don't know. Maybe we're going to have a lot. Maybe we're not going to have a lot.
What the fuck?
Exactly. So there was Bitch Giggles. Then there was B to the O to the double B with the W with the quadruple T.
I feel like I remember that person.
You might have heard Dr. Dave and I trying to figure out her real name.
Yep. Okay. That's where I know it from.
Bummed out big butt with the TikTok twerk.
That's okay. Yeah. I remember hearing about her.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys figure out her name was like Stephanie or something?
No, we never figured it out.
No? Okay.
We both had a cough. So anyway, she was another one that was like, she was probably clinically depressed.
I mean, working there, how could you not be?
Yeah, but she came in that way.
Oh, shit.
And she was always bummed out. She obviously had a big butt, but when she walked, it was a TikTok twerk. And it wasn't fore and aft, it was left, right.
Good God.
Yeah. And she didn't last long either. I think. The lips. There was something.
PUBG's the lips.
That's it.
PUBG's the lips. How could I forget PUBG's? Well, he was only there for about a month.
Yeah, he wasn't there long. And there was another one before you, PP the fruit fondler. He worked out front. But him and I did like bike rides and shit together. And Croaky, can't forget Croaky. He was another one from the front.
How could you forget Croaky?
Yeah, the world's smallest Sasquatch. This
Croaky.
Guy had
He's
hair.
Still there, I think.
Probably. Yeah, I had heard he was deaf, and I assume that was true. But then they would take Croaky and put him on. He had eyes that went separate ways, kind of like the penguin. The Penguin and Peng 2. Yeah, Penguin had an eye issue. So they would put this guy on self-scan, which is the worst place for anyone to work in a grocery store because people just fuck stuff up all the time, scan their stuff. So here's a deaf guy who's probably not that high on the IQ scale, running self-scan. So I would buy something just so I could watch that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people would go, excuse me, and he would be clueless because he can't hear them. And then he'd just look at them and nod when they're bitching about whatever's going on.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Going along with Croaky, I just happen to remember neck mold.
Fuck me.
There was a guy who was very, very large.
Yes.
So fat. And, I was told by DJ Morgan and Mike that there was a guy who has neck mold. And I was like, that can't be a thing. DJ Morgan did all this research on it. And upon looking at it, yeah, there is such a thing as neck mold.
Yep. He was so large and apparently so lazy, or he had no one else in his living situation that would reach his neck, that there was fucking mold growing on it.
It's repulsive.
Yeah, it was.
People don't believe it when I tell them. And
no.
I didn't believe it at first. I was like, you guys are crazy. No way.
Get your ass over to aisle 4.
You got anyone else who's that nickname was?
The Cookie Gnome.
Cookie Gnome. How the fuck did I forget him? Exactly. He was in charge of the drivers for the longest time.
Really nice guy.
They gave him some weird position afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think he made the same pay, but he didn't do it. Oh, there was also Helen Degenerate.
Helen DeGenerate. Santa Lady.
Yeah, she was going to be my...
Insanity Claus.
The Insanity Claus was going to be her and her husband, who looked like Santa, and she looked like Mrs. Claus. And what I was going to do was rent them out at parties. Mm-hmm. And I was going to show up as the stone drunken elf with them on collars like leashes, and then turn them loose. And then her first line was always going to be, I'd have her practice it, because you can imagine this little
sweet
lady,
old woman.
And the first thing she was always going to say was, cut the cake, cut the Coke, let's get this motherfucker started. We would have made so much fucking money. We would have made so much money.
Wow. I forgot about her.
And that's and Shitboy, the one that you...
Shitboy, which that's also a dual, it's like a code word that we had. So this actually works out pretty good. We're at 45 minutes. I'm going to end part 1 here. And this may surpass 2 parts. This may be a 3-parter going into, so this is a bi-monthly podcast, or it's bi-weekly. I don't even know. I do it 2 times a fucking month. And
it's either bi-weekly or bi-monthly, I think.
Bi-monthly.
No, wait.
Bi-weekly would be twice a week. So this is a bi-monthly podcast. And yeah, so we're going to jump into part 2 then. I got to go take a piss. So join us on part 2 of the Peapod Chronicles.
See you then.